Hello everyone, this is your boy Leveled Head Gamer with the Live and Leveled Gamers podcast. Just wanted to come on before the show started and inform you that there will be pops and a little feedback here and there in the show. We tried to edit it but wasn't able to get it all out. So on behalf of myself, Live, and TriForce Johnson, we just wanted to apologize. We will address this issue on the next podcast. So while you're listening, we want you to enjoy. We want you to know that we do know, but it's not to the point where you can't enjoy the show. So without further ado, deuces, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Peace.
Mr. L live and that boy leveled. Boy leveled. Boy leveled. Mr. L live and that boy leveled. Boy leveled. Boy leveled. Mr. L live. Mr. L live and that Mr. L live and that boy leveled. Boy leveled. Boy leveled. Mr. L live and that boy leveled. Boy leveled.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mr. L Live 08 once again, and we're coming to you with the Live and Level podcast, where we have a very special guest again, Mr. TriForce Johnson.
I was going to say it's your boy TriForce, but yeah, my friend called. He says it's your boy Rolando all the time. I'm getting that from him. But hey, everybody, it's me TriForce from the Nintendo community, and thanks for having me back on Live and Level. So yeah.
And this is your boy Leveled Head Gamer back one more again with my boy Mr. L Live and that one TriForce Johnson. We about to get it in for another Live and Level Gamers podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, Comic-Con weekend has finally ended. It was kind of rough, but yeah.
Okay. We gonna get in there, CC. We got a lot planned for y'all today or tonight, whenever you listen to this. But we got the Comic-Con coming up. We're gonna be talking about Bayonetta 2 and Mario 3D World and any other game that TriForce got a chance to check out, the experience, everything about it. He's gonna break it down. But we got a lot of things we want to do. We like to thank y'all for tuning in and liking and commenting and leaving your thoughts. Has all been beneficial to us as podcasters, and we're gonna try to keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah.
So, without further ado, we got a few topics we're gonna jump into. The first one is, what's the most recent game you played? Any console. You can talk about any console. It could be Nintendo, Sony, it could be Microsoft, it could be PC. Just what have you been gaming on, and how has that game been for you? Live you can start, or TriForce you can start, and I just go after y'all two.
All right, you want to go? You want to go first, Live?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Well, what I've been gaming on, I've been gaming on the Wii U. I've been playing the Batman Armored Edition on the Wii U, and I recently went to Best Buy and I bought the Mass Effect 3. I didn't buy it brand new. I bought it used, but I bought that Mass Effect 3, and I tell you what, that Mass Effect 3 is serious on the Wii U with you having the controls on the gamepad. Everything is fluent, and it's the same way with the Batman Armored Edition. And I went out and I bought the Zelda HD. I bought the special edition one, but I can't open it. I don't know what it is. I just can't see myself opening it.
No, you don't buy that. You don't buy the Wind Waker edition to open it. You buy that to stuff that in a plastic bag, a see-through plastic bag, and put that in your closet. That was not intended for you to. Anyone who bought that and opened it, I don't know what you're thinking about. Like you go back to the store and you buy a regular copy of Wind Waker, yes, and you play that. You do not open the Zelda Wind Waker edition. What are these people thinking about these days?
Right.
I'm telling you, man. I cannot find myself to open it up. I'm looking at it right now, and I have it on on my bookshelf and I can't open it. I just can't.
Well, for me, it's been a while. Last time I was on your show, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I just returned from the Caribbean island, and I was in St. Martin for the summer for a video game competition called the Video X Games International 2013 World Championships. And I've been working. Honestly, I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. I have been working around the clock. I have not gotten a chance to play anything from July till now. I've been with my trusty Nintendo 3DS playing Tetris Axis this entire time. And that's it. It's Tetris Axis during my breaks, work, and, I'm in one of those drought periods right now because I have to focus on my job. But once I get myself into a specific position, then I'm gonna crack through all of my games and stuff like that and play them. So I'll be back. I'm just taking a nice little break, but my trusty Nintendo 3DS keeps me gaming.
I feel you on that, man. Well, for me, it has been for the last. When did this game come out? When did Zelda come out?
About a
week ago.
The 20th. September 20th.
September 20th. So that's what I've been gaming on for the last, I guess, week and a half, 2 weeks. And I'm telling you, man, I should have never opened it up. Now, I didn't get the special edition. I got this game. I'm not caught up. I'm not that deep. Like, I know people buy it and save it and keep it for, I guess collectors and all that stuff. But me, I just bought the regular Wind Waker HD. And man, I shouldn't have opened it. I was on that Wonderful 101. I shouldn't have opened this game. I haven't been able to take it out. I've been playing it on my spare time. And man, this game is this is the next topic. But dude, this game is, it's almost, the only word I could use is magical. I mean, the way the game looked, the way the game draws you in, it's just like, my God, dude. I forgot how good Wind Waker was. And I forgot a lot of the aspects of the storyline and where it took you and the twists and the turns. It was just a clever game. And it's a lot of nuances in the game. I don't want to spoil it for nobody, but there's a lot of new nuggets Nintendo has put in the game and brought it up to current time, and it's little things that wasn't in the original. At least I didn't find it in the original. But that's what I've been gaming on. I mean, if you got a Wii U and you haven't bought Wind Waker, do yourself a service and go cop that. It's a beautiful game all the way around. So the gamepad and the way you can, control your menu and your maps and your, as far as your weapons and all that stuff, I can
imagine that perhaps that makes the entire game more streamlined and fluid.
Yeah, that's what you took the word. I was just going to say it's streamlined. It's so beautiful when you don't have to push pause. Open up a menu to set this weapon there. It's
crazy. You know what's crazy? It's crazy that it took that connectivity concept, which goes all the way back to the 64. It took 3 entire generations before they got it to where it's streamlined like that. That's why when I look at the consoles today, in the long run, long term invested experience for gamers, the Nintendo Wii U is going to be able to do things with video games that we dreamed about 20 years ago in video games, because that gamepad is just ridiculous. People do not understand. They just do not know.
Right.
That's my thing. I made a video, and I asked developers. I was like, okay, if you guys are, making, these games for the Xbox 360 with smart glass, or the Xbox One with smart glass, or the PS3 with the Vita, or the Vita with the PS4, why can't you make it for the Wii U?
We talked about this biasness before.
You really did. But it's a truth. You live. You tell the truth. I mean, it's a legit question. But like TriForce said, and like we all say, it's biased, and it ain't because yes, my favorite company or my gaming choice is Nintendo, but I'm not saying that because my gaming choice and my preference is Nintendo. I'm saying that because that's just legit. It's a bias, and it makes no sense to be there. That's, I don't think anyone is just saying it because it's Nintendo. If I saw this same stuff going on with Sony, if I saw it going on with Microsoft, I might not be as verbal, but I still would bring it up. I still would call it. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't got nothing to do with favoritism, but it is a bias in the industry. It's just something that's just there. You can't avoid it.
I'm just saying, like you said, everything is, streamlined with the Wii U. And I'm just saying, these developers are, they're complaining, well, I can't put it on the Wii U. It's too difficult. But you're steady putting, smart glass, and you're steady, making it, on the Vita, to supplement the PS4. I mean, but the Wii U is already there.
Right.
Just put it on there. What's so hard?
I don't know. But anyway. But transitioning, we was talking about that Zelda Wind Waker HD. Seems that it looking like it's making some moves. It jumped up 682% in UK. Here in America, it sold 152K in 2 days now, compared to, I named 2 games, Grand Theft Auto and Monster Hunter 4 in Japan. This 52K ain't big, but still, far as the Wii U and still being a new system, it still ain't even a year out yet. And all the lackluster and problems that people been heaping on it, that's pretty good. So I'll get y'all thoughts on that. Either one, you can jump in live, or TriForce, you can jump in first. It don't matter.
All right. First of all, it's not November yet. It's the middle of October, and what's the name of this thing here? The Wind Waker just came out, 152,000 sold, and you said 600 something percent in the UK.
Yeah, Wii U sales rose 682%.
682%.
Something like that.
The thing, to me, I'm not surprised. I don't want to try to downplay it, but this is what Nintendo does. In the last podcast, I told you when we had the whole Mario thing, is like when October, November, December comes, this is Nintendo's time. This is when Mario was like, "What? You thought I was playing? I was going to get at you guys. I told you. It's not a game out here. I told you." So, Mario's going to do his thing this Christmas. That's what Nintendo does. So it's a joke, really. So when I see those numbers, and it's not even December, it's not even November yet. If they're pulling those numbers now, when you have Black Friday, that's madness right there. And when Christmas time comes, that's madness right there. So all in all, this is the thing. It's not for me. It's not even nothing to talk about. Nintendo does this all the time. They start off slow. They get little to no third party support. The following year, the following holiday season, they go, "Oh my goodness, sales are down. We had a weak start because we just have our games to sell. So what we're gonna have to do?" And they call forth the army. So here comes Mario, Pokemon X and Y just dropped.
That's selling like crazy.
So that's going to be hotcakes. Now you do know that there's going to be some form of associated game with it on the Wii U, and I'm just hoping and I'm just waiting that there can be some type of console to handheld merging interactive game, and then it's on like Donkey Kong. So when the rest of these games come out, Nintendo's going to body everybody. This is going to be the freest. Dudes are so lucky Rockstar said, "Here's Grand Theft Auto." Because if you take away the staple money makers from the third party guys, Take away the Maddens and the NBA 2Ks. Take away the Call of Duties. Take away the Grand Theft Auto. Take those guys away, and you'll see what the scene is really about. You'll see who really puts the real stuff out there.
Right. Live? It's on you.
I mean, for the most part, Zelda it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell, and it's selling well, from the get go, which everybody should understand that. Now, my thing is this, and I don't want to go off topic with it too much, but okay, Watch Dogs got delayed, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys think the reason why Ubisoft said, well, hey, we need to go in and we need to, add a little bit more gameplay, or like TriForce said, woo, Mario put the gambler down and he's gonna start selling everything.
Mario was at Comic-Con.
I think Ubisoft kind of got scared.
You know what I think happened with Watch Dogs? I think the sales of Rayman Legend and Splinter Cell not being good, because neither one of them sold well. I mean, Splinter Cell only sold 300,000 copies across 3 platforms. Yeah. Rayman Legend sold great on the Wii U, well, decent on the Wii U, or okay, but it didn't sell hardly at all on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And then you got, yeah, that's their fault. It's their fault. Then you got Assassin's Creed 4 coming out, and then a month later, right on the heels of Assassin's Creed 4, you got Watch Dogs. You kind of go eating to your sales. So I'm thinking they pushed it back. I think the game is done. I think they just pushed it back because they want to give Assassin's Creed 4 full opportunity to sell at its utmost, and then bring Watch Dog out and let it give breathing room as well. That's what I think they're doing, which is giving my pocket breathing room. Shoot, I can't buy all these games. So. Just
to let you know, first of all, Rayman Legends should have launched with the Nintendo Wii U. Right. And if it wasn't going to launch with the Nintendo Wii U, they should have held the game until the following holiday season. That didn't make any sense for them to release a game with that character in the springtime. That didn't make any sense. Why would anyone want to go and buy Rayman Legends in the middle of the spring going on summer? No one wants to sit home and play any of those video games like that. You're not Smash Brothers. You don't rock like that. That's the problem with a lot of these companies that make these video games. They don't understand the box that their intellectual property fits in. No offense, but there are tiers to these parties out there. You have B-class companies, you have A-class companies, and you have S-rank companies. And Rayman is a B-class, title. So if you have a B-class title, you got to put your B-class title in the strongest season and where your game will sell. You can't put it in the weakest season. That's for Nintendo themselves doesn't even put their S-class games in some of those seasons. And when they do, even their S-class suffers. Remember when Mario Sunshine first came out? And they put that in the summer. Mario Sunshine didn't do well. It had to wait until Christmas came around when Mario Sunshine sales picked up. But it kind of got bopped in the summer. In the summertime, certain games will rock. And that's because when you look at the demographic of the type of people that play certain games, if you do a study on it, the older demographics are the people that buys games in the spring and in the summer. And even then, sales aren't all that great like that. They're good. They're solid. But the bulk of games, especially games that cater more to kids, are in the holiday seasons. So if your game caters to children and you're selling it in March and April, then something's wrong with you. If your games caters to kids and you're selling it in summertime, something's wrong with you. I'm like, you can't sell those games in. It's certain special cases, you could do and you could get away with it because it depends on what it is. Like Smash Brothers, you can sell Smash Brothers in spring. Smash Brothers will rock in the spring because you can get just a competitive community alone will buy that game, and it'll be more than enough. Not even a mainstream. Not the coupled with the mainstream, you get a solid sale. That's why Smash Brothers will drop sometime around March, April of next year. Guarantee it. TriForce is calling it. So, and that's when after the holiday season is over and Nintendo's going to that little dry spell, that's when they're going to call the whole army in Smash Brothers. And when that game drops, oh man, the madness that's going to happen.
But try, man, live. They say Rayman is better than Mario now. You know what I'm saying? They say Rayman is.
Out. Stop me. Who said that?
They do say that, but I just wanted to hear you say that, man. I ain't trying to get
who said that?
Man, you got a whole bunch of commentators and journalists who reviewed Mario, New Super Mario Bros. U and Rayman Legend, and was like Rayman Legend is better.
Stop it! All right, stop it.
I'm just messing with you.
First of all, Rayman is good, and I don't want to call it a gimmick because it's not a gimmick. However, the level design and the ability to interact with the level design in Rayman is linear because it's a side-scrolling game that moves. There's not much you can do. You're not in a world. You're not in an immersive world where you can explore. You're in a side-scrolling moving world. And when you go into certain areas that have certain intricacies to it, it's very small and compact. And that's why Rayman Legend can turn certain people off. Because after like the first, when I'm running, and I'm jumping, I'm like, is this pretty much it? Like, is this it? Because as a gamer, like, that stuff rocks in the NES days. That's like a game you put on your 3DS. But on a console game, nah. The whole game can't be based on that. And it's on a console game. You want a Rayman world. Like how you gotten on all the other console games. So, and I understand that they want to try to use the gamepad, but in terms of the immersiveness, it's not enough to sustain anyone's attention. So in terms of it being better than Mario, let's look at Mario 3D World, New Super Mario Brothers, or the new Mario 3D Worlds, right? If you look at either one of the games, yes, the fundamental premise of its design is the standard Mario, which it's supposed to be. Mario's a platformer. Mario's in a submersive world where he gets power-ups, finds secret coins here and there, secret levels, defeats bad guys, blah, 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 blah. And although it's the same thing, they add different themes to it to change it and give you a different world altogether. No world is ever the same. The substance of the world, when you look at it, you get the nostalgic feel of the original Super Mario Brothers, but it's not the same world. So when you play the game, you'll sit down and say to yourself, okay, cool. This is, I can deal with this. Although you've seen this type of world before, it's no different. Like while playing Sonic, you know what to expect from Sonic, but you don't play the same exact world in Sonic. And that's why you can't compare the level designs. The world designs of Mario is far infinitely better than Rayman Legends. Rayman Legends is too linear.
Yeah, I like Rayman Legend, don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of secrets and a lot of, like you saying, even in New Super Mario Bros. U, there is a lot of secrets, a lot of doors that you don't know nothing about and exits.
Exactly. And you have to explore those.
Right, you gotta, even though it's in 2D, you still gotta explore the 2D world, whereas, like you said with Rayman Legend, it's just jump to this platform, run, keep up with the screen. I don't know.
Yeah, and don't take we don't want to try to downplay Rayman.
No,
Legends.
I like Rayman Legends.
Like there isn't any secret worlds in Rayman Legends. There are. However, the design for exploration is very limited, and I stress that it is very limited. So if you, as a gamer, when I'm looking at Rayman Worlds, if you look at the background as a whole, your creativity, your imagination is automatically going to, I wonder what's in this background. Let me touch it just to see if it even interacts, which kind of comes off JPEG-ish because it doesn't really necessarily look like, it's actual a 3D world. It's really
it's like a picture on top of a picture or something like that, and you can explore that, but it's very limited in even in that regards. So you can pretty much find out anything by touching the screen just to see if it works. In Mario, if something looks like you can get to, first of all, in order to find out if you can if that's even a secret world, you have to get to it. Then when you get to it and you're actually there, you have to find out how you can access it. And that may require a collection of coins, a coin found on the opposite side of the world you just came from, or some power up that you need, or some key that you lost, or some other secret set of sequences that you have to do to unlock that particular. And that's just to get to a level. In Rayman, that's not the case. You're like, if I get this and I swing here, let me see if I can go into this small little black thing that looks like a small cave. And you touch it and you go, oh, okay, I got to go in there. But you see how quick that gratification was? So you really don't feel like you did much to get to it, where Mario makes you earn it.
Right.
And that linear aspect is what I don't understand how these people could say that game's better than Mario. They're crazy.
Well, I think they just need something to replace Mario. But go ahead, Live. I hear you talking.
No, I was just saying, I was just agreeing what TriForce was saying. Rayman Legend, it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but it is not Mario. No way close.
No, that's not. I mean, it doesn't. Rayman doesn't control like Mario. It's not as. I mean, you can't just drop on a dime, turn, jump, flip. It don't have the same polish, but it is a good game. I mean, I haven't purchased Legend yet. You know what I'm saying? I will. I feel like they should have released it when they said they was. They released it in a time where there's other games that draw my attention more. So I really ain't tripping off of Rayman Legend at this moment, because I got Mario, I got Sonic. It's too many other bigger hidden games to focus on that game. So, but anyway, Pokemon X and Y sold 4 million copies already. So it's killing. So anyway, the next topic is, and y'all take it however y'all want to go with it. If you agree, if you don't, do you feel that this is the last generation of console? Home console system.
Home console? As a whole industry, or or is this
individual? Like, you break it down however you choose.
Oh, well, for Nintendo, no. Nintendo is going to continue to go about things a traditional way. I see the other two companies, Microsoft and Sony, going more towards making it that way, where it's not that they want to stop playing games. That's not, they want to stop making games. I mean, that's not their objective. But I do see them saying, okay, we want to move more to the virtual side of things on like a Steam-based type, infrastructure. I could see that happening, which doesn't mean they're not going to be making games. They're just changing the infrastructure of how they get games to the masses.
Right.
Where Nintendo will keep the same infrastructure with their console. How is that going to work? I don't know. And to be very honest with you, and if it does, perhaps it may be a good thing. Perhaps.
I mean, Live. Well, let me say this. Live, what you think? Where you at?
I think this. For Microsoft and Sony, I think they like TriForce said, they're gonna go to a more like a cloud based Steam, account thing. I think that's where they're heading. With Nintendo gonna keep traditional. Every 5 years, they're gonna come out, with a console until, something else, comes about that Nintendo, innovates in. But for the most part, no, this will not be the last consoles for Nintendo. Now, for Microsoft and Sony, that might be a different story.
Yeah.
But for Nintendo, no, there will be another console that'll come out.
I do agree. I agree that Microsoft and Sony is going more to the Steam that way, where they pretty much, you download it, it's all digital, and they can pretty much X out a box that you bring to the house. I think Nintendo might unify their handheld and home consoles. and make it to where, and I heard somebody else talking about this. It might have been Gamer Nate. I'm not for sure. I want to give credit where credit is due. I don't want to say I came up with this. I think it was Gamer Nate who was talking about it. I think maybe Active Gamer said this too. But I think they might unify the handheld and home console into one where you can hook it up to your TV and then take it on the fly with you as well.
I see that happen. I agree. I think the next Nintendo system, 8 or 9 years from now, I would only hope that Nintendo's next system comes out in like 2018, 2019. Actually, more like 2019, 2020. That would be nice. And if Nintendo came out, 2020 would be a nice little year because then you can, market the whole 20 at home, 20 with you, whatever, however you want to spin that. But like the controller that you're using is your handheld, and you can play the game, and it's an open and closed handheld. So it's not like the Nintendo Wii U gamepad, but it's more like a Nintendo 3DS, so it's the dual screens. And you open and close it, and you play it. It looks like it has a controller function of the Nintendo Classic controller, but then it has the interface of the Nintendo 3DS, and it's Bluetooth or Wi-Fi enabled in terms of sequencing up to the system. You can play it at home, and then when you're on your go, you just take it on your go.
Yeah, I see that. So you saying 2019, 2020. So do you see Nintendo keeping the Wii U and sticking with the Wii U that long now? There's a lot of folks, and I think even Live feel like they might come out with something in 20, what'd you say, Live, 2016?
Yep, 2016.
Nah, that's 7 years ago. Like if you look at the Wii to the Wii U, it's a 7-year difference. And if you look at the GameCube to the Wii U, that's a 6 to 7 year difference. And if you look at the GameCube to the 64, that's a 6 to 7 year difference. So 2019, 2020 is right on cue with what they're doing.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm believing that the situations and the circumstances with the Wii U gonna turn around. I believe it's gonna last probably to 2019. I think Nintendo is gonna shock some folks, but if they don't, do you still see them sticking with it that long?
Yeah, of course I see them. The potential of the Nintendo Wii U I don't even think people even understand the level of its potential. They look at it and they think it's just a Super Nintendo version of the Wii. But let's take a look at Nintendo's life cycles for their consoles. The Nintendo the Super Nintendo dropped when? What was this? 91? What? 91, 92,
91,
right?
92. Yeah.
Right? Okay. The NES came in 85, 86. So there was a 7-year difference between those. Well, 7 to 8 years, right? About 7 to 8 years. Let's just say 5. We're gonna have 7 years, right? Now between those two systems. Now between the Super Nintendo and the 64, which is 92 to 96, that was the shortest period of time Nintendo ever took to make a console, going from the Super Nintendo to the 64. And I don't think, although that's very possible that we may see a closed, like a very short period of time happening again, as we think that the Wii U is the Super Nintendo of the Wii. I doubt it. I think they're going to just follow through with what they have, because of the connectivity between the gamepad and the Wii U allows for them to do a lot of great innovative things. The only reason why a system for the Nintendo Wii U may come out in 3 to 4 years from now is if third party absolutely bails on Nintendo. And that is possible because overhead in terms of making media-based games, when you can put stuff on cloud and you can put stuff on Steam and stuff like that, third-party companies may say, hey, listen, why are we paying for these mediums? We can just store these stuff in cyberspace. But Nintendo's going to be smart because they're going to keep their stuff on a medium regardless. Why? Because I'm not putting my video game collection on no cloud.
Right.
Anything can happen. Someone like people was hacking the PS3's accounts and people accounts was getting. So if I have my whole collection on there, and then someone goes, especially with technology, hacking and steal my entire library, all my data is gone. Nah, I want those things in hard tangibles. You know what that's like? That's like with the credit card versus cash.
Right.
When credit cards first came out, everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, credit cards are going to replace cash." Ultimately, it will, because tangible cash, is going to lose its value eventually, and everything's going to be money will be digitized. But everyone thought that was going to happen in like 5 to 10 years at the time when they first introduced the credit card. No, it's going to take. It's going to take 20 to, well, actually, back then, if you count it now, it's going to take anywhere from 30 to 40, perhaps 50 years before they phase out tangible cash. So with that being said, Nintendo is going to stick with the tangible medium where everyone else goes digital. And the tangible medium will still rock because you have a lot of people that are like, nah, I don't want my game saved online or downloaded in a hard drive where something happens and my hard drive becomes corrupt and I lose everything. I'm not doing that. And in order for me to then retrieve my games, I have to fill up an account on this line and I have to do this. Some people don't got all that. Some people just want to buy the game and put the CD or the cartridge in its same case right in that corner and have their collection. But you're going to have those who are going to want to do that. So when those two guys move forward with that, Nintendo will, continue to stick with their games. And because of that now, I think is why they're going to break that cycle between the Super Nintendo and the 64. And it's going to wait all the way to the end of this decade.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
Me personally, I mean, I like tangible. I like even down to Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. Me and Live talk back and forth, man. He was like, man, I think I'm going to download it, bro. I can't wait. And I was like, man, I want it, but I want a physical copy. I can buy virtual console games, for $5, $6 or, even down. I don't mind losing that stuff because I don't feel like I lost much if that was to ever something was to glitch up or something was to fail to where my data was lost. But I'm not going to spend $50. I'm not finna lose that and take the chance of that being stored and kept up for me on someplace in the cloud or it's on some server or whatever. I want that on my shelf. I can pull out the disc, pop it in, play it anytime I want to.
Exactly. Number two, the viability of the storage space for these games in cloud and all of the. First of all, there is no generation, and I really mean this. There's no console that ever maxed out the ability of any of these systems. So for something like cloud or Steam to have these games, they're going to spin it as, well, because you have this virtual blah, 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 and this has a quintuple terabyte blah, 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 and it can hold up to a quadrillion, gazillion, incalculable amount of data. This is the best way to have. No. Just put it on a disc and give it to me, right? Let me determine how I want my game saved and stored and whatnot on my memory card or on my hard. Well, they don't do memory cards anymore. Now you just put the stuff on your hard drive and stuff like that. But it is not going to get to that level. Give me 1 second, guys. I just have to check this. Okay, it says later than. Okay, cool. But outside of that, is there echo?
Yeah, it sounds like it. You had to figure out. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, outside of that, I just don't see. I don't see Nintendo making a system anytime soon, and I hope they don't. This industry, and they wonder why sales are kind of funny in this industry in terms of the consoles to software, the hardware to software ratio. They're spinning things out too fast. They're not giving people time to play their video games. As they make a console, they're already talking about the console successor. That's madness. The Wii U just came out. 2016 is 3 years away from now. that means the Nintendo Wii U's lifespan would only be 3 years. Nah, I'm not feeling that. I'm sorry. 2019, 2020 will work. That means I get all 7 years to max out the system's full potential. This gives Nintendo enough time that when they make a next gen, they have 7-year development time. If they're going to make a next gen system in 2016, it's not going to be next gen because it was only 3 years after.
Right. Okay, Live, you want to jump in on that or before we move on?
I mean that's pretty much true with with everything that TriForce was saying, but for the most part it is nice to have the option to go in and say, I can download, the game, to the, to my Wii U or to my PS3 or to my Xbox, 360. That, that is nice, to have,
Yeah.
I think incentive, a good incentive to have, if you don't want to go to the store and go get the physical copy, you can have the option of going in, and downloading.
Yeah. I mean, actually,
I think that's
actually you brought up, in a video I just made, man, it's kind of leading into the next topic. The key word was incentive, that is an incentive. I mean, maybe not for me, maybe not for TriForce, but for someone out there, it's a strong incentive. Some people, I was listening to, I think it was Torrance Davis who said this. He was talking about he want everything to go digital. He want all his stuff in digital. He don't want nothing physical. He wanted to be in digital where he could just click on that icon or click on that game and go on to Steam or PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. And it's all on there. He don't have to pop no disc in. He could just pull it up, click that game and play. Some people like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But me, I'm like TriForce on the tip where what happened if somebody hacks the servers? What happens if something mess up and your data is lost? Cause none of this stuff is perfect. Then what you do? Then you gotta prove and then you gotta go. To me, I just rather, just like my DVD collection and my Blu-ray collection, I'd rather just go to my shelf, stroll through, find, what I'm saying, whatever I'm looking for, pull it out, pop it in, watch it, play it, whatever. That's just me. That's how I am. So, that is a good incentive though, Live. You're right on that.
Oh yeah. Like I said, and not to jump off subject, but this is kind of in with it too. I just recently started a digital library with my movies with Amazon, and I tell you what, I haven't had a problem with it yet. But man, watching those movies in 1080p on a digital download, it looked just as good or better than a Blu-ray movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean.
But I think the 1080p, honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with the 1080p is just something that we're in right now. So I think everybody has that. Everyone has that ability to do it. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right. I got 1080p. My TV is 1080p, and the PlayStation 3 is my Blu-ray player. I never really went and bought a stationary where it's, the PlayStation 3 it serves all that. And I'm watching 1080p and it looks gorgeous. It depends on your TV setup and all that and the cards and your, your HDMIs and how the good quality of those and everything. So, but yeah. But, let's transition, man. This kind of one I want to get to because I think this one we're going to stay on for a while.
Okay.
I just made a video just today. And like I told y'all before we started recording, the comment section been ablaze. I said the title of the video was Next Gen, a cause to pause, right? And
yeah, I saw someone just tweeted that.
Right. Well, basically what it's dealing with is, when you look at when the NES came out, when the Super NES came out, when the Genesis came out, when the N64 came out, when the Dreamcast, when the Saturn, when all these systems came out, you could do a simple eye test. Just a simple eye test. You didn't have to read no stats on it. You didn't have to read the specs. You didn't have to know how many gigaflops, how many teraflops, how many poly counts, how many gigs it had of RAM and this, that, and the third. All you did was look at what you saw on the screen and look at what you're controlling in your hand and how it felt. And that was all you needed to let you know this is something I gotta have. And I'm not seeing that with the 8th gen. So the topic is, are gamers being deceived by next gen claims? And you can go anywhere you choose to go. Now, I know you got a spot you want to go to, TriForce. So if you want to hit it first, or if Live you want to jump in before TriForce get on his.
It'd be best if Live jumped in first. We're gonna be here all night on this one.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah,
I don't think the people are ready for this yet. This is gonna be. All right. Okay. Boy. All right. First of all, next gen. There is no such thing as next gen. And that's the reality of it. Everyone says, okay, well, you have different generations of gamers. That's not true. And I'll explain to you why there's no such thing as next gen. Generations can never identify with the generation before it. That's why the generations keep changing. A gamer today can play a virtual console game like Super Mario Brothers 3 and get the same magic from the person that played it when it first came out.
Right.
So how is that possible? They're from two different generations. What's that line that you were telling me about you can't something with the extinction? You can't bring back something from extinction.
Yeah. I said it.
Yes. So the line is it was believed that you could never bring back something from extinction.
Okay, I'll follow you.
So with that being said, it's like saying you have two different types of species. You have a species then and it's been extinct, and you have a species now. And you said to yourself, well, there's no way for the species today to be able to relate with that species of then, because you cannot bring back a species from extinction. But with today's technology, you can. So that means you can bring back something from extinction. So a game that goes all the way back to the NES can be a person of today, even with today's gaming, can experience the same magic back then. Just like a gamer from back then who chances are doesn't even play any of today's games can play today's games now and experience the same magic of today. It all comes down to the type of person you are, or the class that you're in. Now, this is what happens where people get these generations things mixed up or whatever it is. The whole generation thing is based off of the industry creating systems in that time frame. So the first, I guess you call it the pioneering age. The pioneering age is like a first official gen on first gen. Everything from O's and Nuts from MIT in their little toolbox with their tic-tac-toe game, all the way up to the NES is the first generation. And that's all pioneering, right? So you have a lot of things in there, ColecoVision, Atari, Intellivision, Vectrix, Odyssey, all of that, all the stuff, right? The second generation is the NES and the Sega Master System, because those are the two powerhouses that ushered in the next age or generation console-wise, in terms of what it's built for. All that stuff about that technology, that's got nothing to do with the generation at all. It's just next gen is a time. It is not technology. That's what it is. Now, if you want to talk about technology, it's improved technology or evolution, not next gen. It's just evolution in technology. So the third generation has the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. After that, the fourth is the 64, the PlayStation, and the Saturn. The fifth would be the GameCube, the Dreamcast, and the PS2. The sixth would be the Wii, the PlayStation 3, and the Xbox 360. We're up to number 7. I don't know how we got to 8. I don't know how we jumped that fast. Because when I hear a lot of people, we're up to the 8th gen, I'm like, the 8th? Have you guys been counting properly? No offense to you guys, but I'm like,
I feel you. Don't correct us if we gotta be corrected.
I'm like, how are people counting this wrong? I'm like, you do know that because if you look at like comic books, you have the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, the Golden Age, the Modern Age. The Bronze Age is the longest age ever. Because that's the time when everyone is first starting and they don't know what's going on. Think of it like esports, right? Esports is now officially ending its first age. Esports started in 1980. It took 30 plus years to get the groundwork stable enough, viable enough, that in 2014 they can say, okay, welcome to the official esports age, where the world as a whole can accept it. But it took 30 years for different portions of the world to accept it, for the entire world to completely accept it. So in that same regards, when you're looking at generations, generations is just a time frame. But I digress this slightly. So now that we got that complete understanding and we know what the generations mean, let's look at why people argue about what's next gen. This whole next gen garbage comes up between the argument between 2.5 people, and I say half for one reason. You have the 3 classes of people: gamers, nerds, geeks. The arguments stem between the nerds and the geeks. The gamers don't care. The only reason why I say the gamers are in it halfway is because they're telling the nerds and the geeks, please shut up and leave us alone. We're playing video games. So that's the only reason why they even have any voice in it. They don't care. They don't want to get involved. A gamer is the type of person, right? He'll run to the store. He'll get a game. Oh, wow. Like, for instance, a prime example. When I got to Comic-Con, I saw Strider. There's a new Strider coming out.
Yeah, I saw you actually put that on Twitter. I saw that.
I was like, yo, this game is copped. I don't even know what system it's coming on.
It's Xbox One, PlayStation 4.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm copying the game. What system it's associated with is irrelevant. When I find out what system it's on, I'm copying that system.
Right.
Because I want to play that game. I don't care. What I saw on that screen, if the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or Wii U, whatever is it that they do, turning off nuclear warheads, filing a divorce for your wife, starting your car, cook your breakfast, whatever it does, I don't care. All I know is that what I saw is what I want to play. And that's it. And as long as the system, this box, laptop, hybrid PC, whatever it comes in, if it's in some type of microchip in your shoe, I don't care. As long as it plays that on my screen, that's what I'm going to get. That's how gamers are. When we run into a store, we get a video game, we run home, get inside the house, tear open the package, booklet and the case gets thrown to the side, game gets inserted, controller frantically getting plugged in. Where's my batteries? If it's a wireless remote or if you're Bluetooth or whatever, you start playing. We'll figure everything out in the game. We don't need to read the booklet to know what shoot, jump, roll, dodge, sidestep. No, we'll figure that out while we're playing. That's what gamers do. Geeks. A geek is more about the intricacies of the game. They'll buy a game, they come home, they sit down, Point Dexter type, and they're not necessarily excited to really play the game. They really want to understand more about the game. And they'll read the booklet, go through all of the elements in the game that make sure that they're well versed and educated on everything the game can possibly offer from a user interface standpoint. And then they play the game and whatnot. And geeks are not usually as good as gamers in terms of dexterities, because gamers use more talent than they do intelligence or knowledge. It goes off an instinct for them, right? And that's where they really judge the game based off of. Their immersion, their experience comes from knowledge, not the actual experience. So they always, when they talk about something in a video game, they'll say, well, after playing Super Mario Brothers, there was this tunnel that I went through and it was good. We beat up a couple of opponents and enemies and stuff like that. And you have to get this item, and everything is clean stainless steel, like you're writing some type of scientific journal. They don't talk about when a gamer talks about it now, a gamer goes, yo, we went into this tunnel. It was dark. There's only a couple of lights. You see these red eyes, and I'm like, yo, these Mecha Koopas, blah, blah, blah. You see, because they're immersed into the world. So it's about the experience for them. So describing it more as like a story for them. That's the difference between the gamer and the geek, right?
Yeah.
So now that we know what the geek does, let's talk about the nerd. The nerd. These guys, they're the worst, actually, of these guys. Nerds. The nerds, they don't care about the game. And they're not even concerned about the information found in the game. The nerds are based off of pure technology. That's it. Nerds get games because they want to know what it took to make the game. They don't even care about playing the game or experience it or even learning the storyline and the intricacies of anything. They want to know how much RAM, how much gigabytes, how much all of the stuff that is irrelevant. How many polygons, textures, how all it's like, what does that have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with anything. So then now, the nerds are the most conceited because they understand these technical aspects of the game in terms of science and technology. They think that makes them superior to the gamer or the geek. So you get these wars between these three classes because the gamer, let's try to ratify this in a more rational sense. We're gonna simplify this so everyone can. Gamers are the warriors. They're the military, right? The geeks are the politicians, and the nerds are the rulers, so to speak, the government, so to speak. And like our current government right now with the Republicans, that's exactly what the nerds are. They feel they have this entitlement and control because they know all and they have all. Like, if you go onto the battlefield with a gamer, we will destroy you. So all that knowledge you have, we don't care. That's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. When it comes down to the battlefield, you would get destroyed. And the gamer says the same thing for the geek. So for real gamers, they don't get involved in next-gen system wars and who got more polygons and PlayStation 7 and Nintendo X, Y, and Z and the Xbox 1, 2, 3. No gamer cares. They're going to get them all. They got to play the next game that's coming out. That's all that's mattering to them. When? How much? That's what gamers think. When and how much? Well, the game is going to be running 1080. I did not ask you that. I asked you, when does the game drop and how much does it cost? Well, you're not interested in that. It's going to have this because of our new system. It can run this, but sir, you're not listening to me. I didn't ask you any of that. Please tell me when this game comes out and how much it costs. That's all we care about. The other two start up these system war stuff, like as if that makes a difference as to why a system is a console, next gen console, wins a war, sells more. Prime example. Last generation, the Nintendo Wii was the most inferior system amongst the three. But according to sales figures, sold the most games, sold the most units. People go, well, the ratio to the system, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot more garbage on the system because third party makes trash. That's their job. In fact, I'm just going to start calling the third party industry the sanitation department because that's what they make, garbage. You have to leave it to the first party to actually get stuff done. So, but the point is, why did the inferior system by technology standards win? Because it sold the games that the gamers want. Oh, well, those are not gamers. Those are consumers and blah, blah, blah. A gamer is someone that plays digital interactive entertainment. And by that definition, every single person on the planet is a gamer. By that definition, and I wholeheartedly know this, everyone's a gamer. Human beings are born into gamedom. That is not an opinion. It's a fact. We create games. Human beings create games to evolve the mind. In fact, I had a conversation over lunch with one of my business partners, and we were discussing how a scientific study where they gave a social problem in the world to be solved to a bunch of World of Warcraft players. And they simulated the problem in their game and came up with a real life solution. Because gamers solve problems. And everybody's a gamer. We're playing them on our phones. We're playing them on our handhelds. We're playing them on our consoles. And before that, we were playing them when they were cards. And before that, we were playing them when they were dice. And before that, we were playing them when they were rocks. So we're all gamers. So what matters now is he who sells the most wins. And by that standard, Nintendo won last gen. But it was the inferior system. I thought next gen is supposed to win. No, because there's no such thing as next gen. Next gen is a time frame. We are now in the 7th generation. So the ultimate question when you ask, are we being lied to about next gen? No. They know what next gen means. It is the nerds and the geeks who convolute these ideals and make it more than what it is.
Okay.
Oh, well, next gen. It's nonsense.
What you got, Live? What you feel?
I mean, pretty much, with next gen, like TriForce was saying, it's a bunch of hype. I like to play video games. I like to play games. Before YouTube and all of this, was going on, I had Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, the Genesis, the Saturn, the Dreamcast. It didn't matter. Long as I had the opportunity to play the game, like TriForce said. If I seen Strider, and when I used to play Strider, I wanted to play that game. I didn't care what system it was on. I wanted to play the game. And I think now that, a lot of gamers have lost focus on, what system I have to play it on. I prefer this system over that system, instead of, saying, hey, that's a good game. I'll get it for that system. It's just got crazy now with, this person taking this side, this person taking that side. And I think, as gamers, we have some fault because we've kind of like put developers in a box, by, saying, what games that, we like, no, I don't want that in the game. No, I don't want DLC, in the game. Oh, I want DLC, but I'm not going to buy it if it doesn't have DLC. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, to a certain extent, we've actually controlled, developers on what, what they want in a game, we've pretty much, taken control, of that. So, I just think if it was 1985 back over again, and if we could rewind time and do everything back the way how it was, I think the gaming community would be a whole lot better. But I mean, right now it can get better, but I don't know with this next gen. I don't see it. I
Well,
don't see next gen when I look at a Xbox One game or a PS4 game. I don't see it.
well, I'm gonna go off what TriForce said. He broke down, geeks, nerds, gamers, and it seemed to me the reason I feel like gamers are being deceived because I don't think I think gamers are a certain age bracket now. You got a few gamers, okay, like you look at you look at myself, you look at you, we all 30 something plus. We know what gaming is about.
Yep.
We don't know what Tekken is about. Not Tekken the fight game, but tech talk, all this. We just now starting to, well, I say for me, I'm just now in the last two generations with the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox, the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Wii U. I just now got into this whole specs and gigs and teraflops and gigaflops and all that talk. Before, it was just the eye test. No, when I was reading a gaming magazine, I first saw Sonic for the Dreamcast. I didn't need no list of how many polys or how many, gigs or whatever. All I needed to do was look at the picture. Did it entice me? That was my incentive. It enticed me. It made me want to play that game because we were gamers. I don't know what these kids and what we are today. I don't know what you would call us today. And I think because we're so distracted by nerd talk, like TriForce said, we get off into where we don't even see that they're giving us the same thing, but because they say there's 8 gigs of RAM with it, or they say it's this many teraflops, we get all hyped. Well, not me or you, but the gaming community get all hyped, but the eye test is not even being passed.
It's so foolish. There's 60 frames. I forgot how many frames the eye actually sees. What does it frame? How many frames the eye actually sees?
I have no idea.
24. Okay, right?
Okay.
24. So the human eye will never get all 60 frames. So the 60 frames is excessive. But whatever. Oh, did I say successive or excessive? Okay, anyway. The 60 frames is excessive because the eye can only do 24. Fine, whatever. They have the 60 frames. To give a prime example of the point I'm trying to make, gamers are missing out on quality games because of this unnecessary hype and bigotry towards, I guess I'm using bigotry in a metaphoric standpoint, of the other systems.
Right.
Remember when Resident Evil 2 first came out? Now, gamers were told, in order for you to play such a great game, you have to not get a Nintendo. You got to get a PlayStation. Or for some, you're going to have to get a PlayStation and Nintendo if you can afford it. And gamers would miss out on the game because developers were saying, oh, well, we can't make this game on a cartridge-based system because it's going to take this, that, the other, and all X, Y, and Z. And we just can't do it. So Nintendo was like, look, get it done. They got it done. And the gamers on the 64 were able to experience the same type of game and enjoyment and the excellent game that Resident Evil 2 was. That is the same thing happening now in a lot of the games today. People are missing out on huge experiences in video games for no reason because it's not associated with their system. Like dudes want to wear a Nintendo or PlayStation or Microsoft shirt and they like, go Team Microsoft. No. What? Just play the video game. A lot of people okay, look at the Wii U. The Wii U is now an affordable system for people. The price dropped, right? You know how many guys are going to miss out on the experience that is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker just because they don't like Nintendo. And the reason why they don't like Nintendo has nothing to do with Nintendo doing anything wrong. It's just because the industry writes that Nintendo's system is not as technologically sound as the others. So that's the reason they're going to miss out on a great experience on Wind Waker, because it's not as technologically sound. You know what that sounds like? Don't buy that Chevrolet, buy that BMW, because it has to throw air conditioner in the back of your car, where the Chevy only has an air conditioner in the front. The purpose of the car is to drive you somewhere. But because it doesn't have an air conditioned option for the back of the car is deemed inferior to the other car. And then you're asked to pay more for the BMW. When both cars are going to do the exact same thing, drive you to where you need to go. And that is exactly what video games are. Well, the Nintendo Wii U doesn't allow you to open your garage, so clearly games are going to be terrible on the system. What? So they buy, and the Nintendo system only costs $299. However, if you want a maid to come in with scrambled eggs, bacon, egg, and cheese, with a toasted bagel at the exact medium between crisp and dark and medium burn with butter, perfectly seamlessly spread across your bagel, then you should buy this $600 system. And then, so stupid, they buy the system, and 3 years later when the price drops, they go, why did I spend $300 extra? And they don't have the reason. They do not have the reason. The technology, the significant, the difference of the technology is insignificant. Insignificant. The Xbox 360, how much does it cost? No, the Xbox One?
$499.
That is ludicrous. That is madness that system costs $500. That is a $300 system. Behave yourself, Microsoft. It is a $300 system. Stop your nonsense. Stop it.
But that's what I'm talking about, TriForce. That's where I'm talking about being deceived with next gen claims. When did we start looking? When did we walk in the store and start saying? And it's like the iPhone. When I look at the iPhone, and for a minute there, you will see the new iPhone, the new iPhone, new iPhone. I had a partner that every time the new phone come out, he gotta go get it.
He gotta go get it.
And I'm like, why? What is it? I remember sitting in Sears, and the dude was talking to me about the iPhone. I think it's the iPhone 4S, the one that they made longer. If I'm right, it's the iPhone 4S, iPhone 5. It was a 5. I sat there and he's showing me, he's strolling through it, man. Look, you got a whole new roll at the bottom. I'm like, oh, that's so neat that you got 4 more apps you can push that you can't push on your other phone. They still doing the exact same thing. And I'm like, you going crazy over that? And it seems like they're doing the exact same thing with gaming.
Listen to the hypocrisy behind this. You know what that's like? I'll show you the hypocrisy behind that. That is like when I was standing on the line for the Nintendo Wii or the 3DS and the Nintendo Wii U, people used to come and say, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm standing on line for the next Nintendo system. And they would look at me and be like, you're crazy. Why would you stand here all this day and it's coming out like 3 weeks from now? Why don't you come back when it's coming out or whatever? Now, what they don't understand is the cultural relevance of why I do that. Because launch parties for gamers is a cultural thing. It's not a consumerism thing. And a lot of people don't understand that. So, and I'm sorry to segue into this, but I think this is a very important topic that we need to talk about. This is for people who are not gamer, well, everyone's a gamer, but for those who have not accepted themselves as being gamers yet, listening to this. Do not confuse us with the crazy sneakers being the worst of them all, and any other object there is. Gamers stand online for long periods of times to be first for a reason. There is a reason for it. Their lines don't form until usually the day or two before the event. But the person who went out of their way to be first, that is a cultural thing that started all the way back, as far as I can remember, the Super Nintendo. The person who was standing in front in line with the launch would usually get some extra perk, which was rare, that no one else would get because of their fandom. It's not a consumerism thing. It's not because they're like, oh, I got bit by the consumerism bug, so I have to be the first in line to get. No, it has nothing to do with that. Prime example. The what? Exactly. Being in the first Harry Potter book. Like, that's consumerism. Because unless Harry Potter comes down there and blesses you with that lightning scar on the top of your head, and that first book is gold, you should not be standing in line for a book. Sneakers. Are you kidding me? You're going to spend 3 days standing outside in the sneakers you're wearing, which are now molding up your sneakers, for a new pair. Idiot. Phones. People stand online for phones every year. Like, it's every year. They buy a phone today. Exactly 365 days from this day, the next version of that phone comes out, and they go right back online. Video games, that's not how it works. With video games, there's a time spread at the very least. You have to wait almost a decade before you do a line thing again. Number two, when you stand online, you get something for it. One of my early launch parties that I did was the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, right? Now, this game launched at the what's the name of this? The GameStop in Rockefeller Plaza in New York. At that time, I wasn't on any like, oh, I'm going to go there 2 weeks in advance. I went there the morning of. I said, let's leave 12 o'clock at night, and we're going to head downtown to Manhattan, and we're going to go to the GameStop there. I got to the GameStop. He was like, sorry, we didn't open a plaza yet. I was like, all right, perfect. So we're here. Now it's about 6 o'clock. So he's like, come back in about an hour, and we'll open up the plaza. Okay, let's go, guys, let's go grab a Burger King or whatever. We went to go grab Burger King. When I came back 15 minutes to the plaza was already open, 3 people were standing in line before me. I was like, yo, what happened? Why you open the plaza early? Blah, 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 blah. And the guy's like, yeah, but, whatever the case may be. And I was like, yo, we were here first, whatever the case may be. And I was like, yeah, we understand that you were here first, but, like, you had walked away. And I was like, yeah, but, like, it was a big argument, whatever. So I'm like, oh, my goodness. I guess I'll just stay here. You know what the first person in line got? You know the map of Wind Waker?
Yeah.
Nintendo created an actual real parchment, fabric map, rollout spread with a whole bunch of other swag for the first person in line.
Wow.
That is why gamers stand online. That is what they're hoping for. A guy named David Tyson, New York City, stood 1 week ahead in line for the new Gears of War 3 that was coming out. When the game launched, Epic came down. First of all, Epic bought him pizza from California. They got on a phone, called the Pizza Hut in Times Square, and had it delivered to the launch spot to the guy. And they had a butler serve him the pizza with a table. This is ridiculous. When the launch happened, Cliff Kablinski got down there with the rest of Epic and gave him, not only because he was just buying the game, gave him a Gears of War exclusive autographed Xbox 360 with the Lancer and then the other gun. Gear of War swag, stuff that could have cost about $600-700 for a $50 game he stood in line for. That is why gamers do that. They don't do it because of, I got to get the system because I'm a part of the consumerism. But no, they just want to be first to get that. That's why there's fights online for who's first. Because they're all hoping for something, more. Now, since that happens, companies know this and they go out of their way to create these little swags and stuff like that. Because they're like, these guys are huge fans and you want to pay homage to the fans who are supporting you. Stuff like that. They don't do that for sneakers and phones and books. Jordan doesn't come down he doesn't come down with the Jordans that you're trying to buy, wearing them, take off the sneakers, sign them and say, here. He doesn't do that. So why are you standing in line? If he ain't going to do that. Yeah, I understand you want the sneakers. Well, then come the day of. Why do people stand 7 days ahead for a phone or a book or a pair of sneakers in which the people who've created that product don't even care? At least in video games, cars Harai, guys from Xbox, guys from Nintendo, guys from what's the name of this thing? The people that do Gears of War, for Epic. Yeah. At least the people, the producers and the directors will come down and interact with the fans. And sometimes that's all the fans want. They just want their favorite game designer and stuff like that just to come down. Miyamoto came to Nintendo World in 2005. Now listen to this gangster story right here. Miyamoto came out to Nintendo World in 2005, right? And Nintendo put out an advertisement. Miyamoto showing up to Nintendo World. Nintendo's not selling anything. Well, they sell the games, but no launch is happening. Miyamoto is just coming to Nintendo World. 3 days before that, 3,000 people lined up in front of Nintendo World. Wow. 3,000. Waited 3 days for Miyamoto to come upstairs and get an autograph from him. That's it. That's why it says not consumer, because they weren't buying anything. They were just there to get an autograph. People brought everything from their NES to their original gold Zelda control cartridge. I brought my Power Glove and everything. I have even a picture where they, which I'll give you live so you can post up on the podcast so everyone can see, where he autographed my Power Glove. We just lined up outside just to speak to the God. That's it. So, I just wanted to put that out there about the whole consumerism thing. Like, don't mix that up with us gamers, because we are not stupid enough to stand outside for something that we can wait for.
Right.
Nah. So, trust me, there's been some salty gamers who've stayed outside for like 2 weeks, and when the product came out and they got it and they get any extra, they'd be like, yo, this is it.
I don't blame them. Yo, I done sacrificed 2 weeks of my life. I want something.
Yo, like you ain't gonna cop me something, B? Like, Nintendo's always taking care of me. Like, I never stood outside and just, that was it. Nah, man, like, that, in fact, that's a standard now for all gaming companies. If your fan is standing out there for more than 2 days waiting for you to launch a project, and that's obviously has to be at the main launch party, because then that wouldn't be fair to the companies if they had to do that for every place that had a launch. Right. But if it's at the official launch, don't come there empty-handed. I swear to you. You don't be playing games with these gamers, B. Like, you better do not. If you come there, you're first in line. If you forgot, get on a plane, go back to the office, grab some stuff together, and come back. And yes, you can afford it. Like, you better not play no games. Stop playing, man.
Live, you got something you want to jump in on that before we move on?
Man, we can go ahead on to the next topic, man. TriForce covered it, man.
All right, the next topic is, I think this is going to be pretty cool. Name 2 old school IPs you would like Nintendo or any other Sony or Microsoft. Well, you can't really add Microsoft to this, but you would like for them to bring back.
That's crazy.
Just 2.
It has to be 2.
All right, since you guessed, you can name 4 or 5.
I'll give you 5, right?
All right.
Because I want to spread some love between everybody. We'll start with Nintendo. Some intellectual properties. First of all, we need a home console, full-length World Adventure Kid Icarus. That's got to happen. Nintendo, where you at? Where you at with that, B? Like, for real. Like, come on, let's stop playing games. Get that Kid Icarus going. Especially with the Wii U. So, like, you can go into the flying 2D game or the Star Fox type game on the gamepad, and then kid can then go on the 3D world adventure on some Super Mario jump off on the TV. Make it happen, B. Make it happen. Let's go. Time's running out. Another game for Nintendo. Cause I'm gonna pick 2 for Nintendo. I'm gonna pick 2 for Sega, and I'm just gonna pick a random wild card game for Sony. All right. Another game for Nintendo. All right. They're gonna do a Star Fox. They're gonna do a Metroid. All right. Those games are coming out, so that's not straight up F-Zero, real rap. Make it happen. F-Zero like that. They came out with the GameCube one, but nah, man, it's got to be done better than this. And with the Wii U technology, it's gonna be done better than this. So a Kid Icarus and an F-Zero. It's got to go down. This has to happen.
Kid Icarus, F-Zero. That's Nintendo.
That's Nintendo. Let's go to Sega now. First of all these beat 'em up action games, and there is no Streets of Rage? What type of madness is this, B? Are you kidding me? What's going on here? Sega, talk to me, baby. What's happening, man? It's like 12 years. No, all of this, you mean to tell me with all these Ninja Gaidens and Yaibas and Devil May Cry, we can't get a full realm 3D action beat 'em up? Nah, man, this kind of nonsense can't go. You got a King of Fighters League of Legends game out there, and there's no Streets of Rage? This is
can I chime in on this? Let me say this right quick. Streets of Rage or Double Dragon?
I'm sorry. We had this argument before. If there was a street brawl between Fight, Streets of Rage, and Double Dragon, it depends on the 2 you put together. But you put Axel and Adam. I'm sorry, that's the white-black combo. They bodying everybody, B.
You a Streets of Rage, man. Dog, I thought you were going to say Double Dragon. Go ahead, Live. What was you finna say before TriForce get back on this pick?
I was like, you done took one of mine. I was gonna go Double Dragon. They need to come out with a Double Dragon, man. With the power that they got now, it's just ridiculous. They don't have a Double Dragon, man. Man, I remember when me and my brother used to play that game, man, fighting the boo-boos in the arcade. Man, I'm telling you, man, at the end, this a long time ago when you used to fight the guy in the wheelchair with the machine gun, and knock him out the window. Man, come on, man.
You know what would be godlike though? Since Capcom likes doing crossover games, it would be godlike if they Final Fight versus Streets of Rage, or Final Fight versus, or just do all 3 of them. Final Fight versus Double Dragon and Streets of Rage, like real rap. Like, that would be godlike, and you can pick all the characters, all 3 bad guy bosses, which is funny because every one of them has a gun.
Right.
You ever notice that? They all got guns and stuff like that, and make it a 4-player game.
Right.
Let's go.
I don't know. That's something I don't want to keep interrupting you, man, because I know Live got to get his out and I got to get mine out. But I don't understand. It seems like as soon as they put 4 ports for controllers, they stop making games for 4 players.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Dumbest thing ever. That's why I'm like, at least Super Mario 3D Worlds is 4 players, because I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why are there? This is so dumb. Like, so stupid. You know what? Even worse. You had a whole bunch of arcade games, right? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, the arcade games, Dungeons and Dragons, Secret of Astari, all these games. But like they made these 4-player games and like no one plays them on. Like, come on, man! Like this is nonsense. But anyway, let me get back to the Sega.
Kid Icarus, F-Zero, that's Nintendo. You said Streets of Rage.
Now, I'm gonna just throw this out there. All right, it's a rail shooter for Sega. Panzer Dragoon.
Oh, okay, all right.
This game has been off the radar for Sega for eons.
That's a good game.
They need to with today's technology, get that game rolling with a great storyline and put in the work. For real. Cause like, of all the rail shooters, Star Fox and Panzer Dragoon is by far the best. I know Warhawk for the PlayStation was godlike, but like, that games like we haven't seen. They redid it and for the PS3 and it was online only. Like who was the idiot that thought of that at Sony? Should have been they shouldn't have fired him. He should have been put in a firing squad and it got rid of. Why would you even do something like that? But whatever. But moving on to the last game. Now, role-playing games aren't getting burned these days. They really aren't, especially ones that are offline. I am not a fan of online role-playing games. I'm just not. And the reason why is because online role-playing games requires you to go to an altar and sacrifice your soul in exchange for a virtual one. And I just don't like that. You know, I don't like the fact that I feel when I'm playing an MMO, I'm obligated to come home and I have to go online. Like I have no, it's no control. Right. So I like after Phantasy Star, I was like, nah, I'm done. Nah. I played World of Warcraft, but I was like, nah, this is one time my character's wife. No, husband. I'm the husband of some virtual character and whatnot. Some girl's like texting me, why aren't you coming on, honey? I'm missing you. I'm like, yo, I am not married to you in real life. Relax. I actually have a wife, you know. I'm like, yo, I'm like, yo, I'm like, this is when I was like, nah, that is too much.
Right.
That is too much. So, but I do want a role-playing game. And there's a particular role-playing game that all they need to do is redo the end, get a godlike story. Now they can put this game in, it can be in 3D, but it preferably should stay in 2.5D, right? And just have a more immersive world, bigger than its original. And that's Shining Force.
Shining Force.
Yeah, that was a good game. Sega made that one, right?
Yes. Damn, that's right. Sega did make that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't use it. All right. This is PlayStation, right? This is your PlayStation.
So, all right. Then if it's not going to be Shining Force, Valkyrie Profile.
I don't know that one. That's one I don't know.
Yo, that game. Yo, especially if you're into fighting.
Valkyrie.
It's because of the Valkyrie Profile. It's because of the combo system in the game. You got like 4 characters on the screen at one time, and you have a gauge at the bottom, and you're fighting an enemy. And in button sequence order, depending on how the characters attack, you can combo your enemy. And if you can consistently keep your combo gauge up, it goes into a super, and then your characters can do special super moves against your enemies. And that was a huge thing for me. So you have Argrim, and then you got the finishing strike, final blast, and he does this uppercut with the sword in the fight. And then on his way down, then you have Lenneth, and she's like, it has been engraved upon your soul, and she like fly up with wings and throw down the spear of Odin, and like it's on some Dragon Ball Z. Yo, this game is godlike, me. Y'all don't know. Yo, when I was a kid playing this game, like yo, we was getting mad hype for no reason. We was getting so hype, but like with today's technology and innovation, they can just make that game ridiculous. A new one too, and it's based on the whole mythology of like Odin and stuff like that. That
was PlayStation 1. I'm looking at it right now. Okay.
PS1. They made a Valkyrie Profile 2 Samaria, which was in 3D, which wasn't as good, and then they made one for the DS, which was more tactical, and that was unfortunate because the whole game's mystique was built off of that whole combo engine, you know, with the exaggerated attacks and power ups and all that type of stuff. And they had great characters with great personalities. Characters like Lazard. This character Lazard he was the truth. This dude murked himself so he could and said, "I killed myself so I can free myself of the body." Because it was a shell that was not allowing me to do what I needed to do with my soul. I was like, yo, he was creating homockets and all that. The story is the greatest enemy in my opinion in RPGs. A character called Blood is it Bloodbane? I forgot his name. But when you enter and you see him, oh no, actually, there's a guy better than him, and his character's name is called Brahm. And he was like a vampire, but he was the most grungiest vampire. When he attacked you, this dude had like a dragon. No, he was doing a hurricane kick, punch, dragon punch, hurricane kick, short, punch, power geyser, and you lose like 999 instant death. I'm like, and his character's name is called Brahm, because you go into his castle, which you shouldn't, and Brahm's like, you should leave, So, you being the gamer's like, yo, who you talking to? You will see I got like level 99 and you hit this guy with everything, and you took 0. And then he has to stand up off his throne, and then you watch the character who was unfortunate enough to attack him die instantly. So like, oh man, they just don't make video games like they used to. See, this is why video games suck.
I ain't mean to make you go on
And it's not a nostalgia thing. It's like, you just can't get those type of experience in today's games. First of all, everything is cinematic, so you're watching the movie, you're not interacting with the game, so you can't really get the experience because you're just watching it. Like, no. Like with today's technology, it should be cinematic, but I can interact. If you're going to use the technology, do that. That's why Zelda Ocarina of Time has the highest rating of any game in the history of video games. Because at that time with its technology, although it was cinematic, everything was interactive.
Right. Well,
live? I mean, my 2 for the most part.
You can go. You don't have to limit it to 2 because I not listening to Try. I got one more I got to add to mine.
I'm just name 2. I'm gonna just name 2. I don't want to go on too long, but I'm gonna just name 2. My first one, I don't know if you guys remember this one, but it's Gargoyle 13. I don't know if you ever played that.
Yes.
It was like a first-person shooter, and it was like off the hook. I had to sneak, and I had to play that.
NES.
Okay.
Yeah, it was NES. I had to sneak, and I had to play that game because it was that violent. and they had like a lot of missions, with it. I think they had like 13 missions with it, and all of them was straight. All of them was good, like I said. And my last game that I used to enjoy, me and my brother used to enjoy playing all the time, was Contra.
Yeah.
I want them to make a Contra. It doesn't have to be a 3D Contra. It can be a 2D Contra. Long as you'll be able to play with your friends, online or a multiplayer. It doesn't matter, as long as it's a good 2D, shooting game that's fun.
Can I say something about your Contra? There's a reason why I didn't put Contra on my list, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when they made Contra for the 3DS, no, it wasn't the 3DS, it was just a regular DS. It was Contra 4. The problem with Contra today, it can only be done in its original format. You can't make a Contra today in 3D. With a great graphic storyline and new engine, because there's a Pacific game that replaced Contra, and that's Gears of War. Gears of War is Contra. Marcus and Phoenix is Bill and Lance. If you look at Gears of War, that is Contra. It is actually Contra.
You tell the truth on that.
So they did it way better than Give me 1 second, guys. Can you just tell Phil that I'm in a podcast right now? I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so the game, if you look at it, especially with the locusts and all of that stuff, all those aliens and stuff like that, that's no different from Red Falcon invading Earth. The only difference is that they could have wrote that story as, if they really wanted to, they could have wrote the story as long after Bill and Lance was dead. These are his descendants, Marcus, Phoenix, and Dom. And Red Falcon had made an escape route when they blew up that island when in the first Contra, and they built their entire civilization of Red Falcon under the earth. and then one day on E-Day, Immersion Day, they popped up and bodied everyone, and that's how it started. What happened? Yeah, Mr. Level Live. That's what I'm on. So that's how I would have seen the whole Contra story. Once I saw Gears of War, it was already too late for me. That's how I looked at it, and I was like, you know something? It's over. It's over. Contra is officially. I'm like, they could make a 2D game, but it will never get that feel like how it was. And that's because Shattered Soldier wasn't all that good, and then the ones on the PlayStation, oh god, like those were terrible. So
Yeah.
they lost their footing, and then someone came in and replaced it.
Yeah, I'll give you that, man. Gears of War killed it for any game that's like that, that's coming behind it, because you just automatically gonna throw, oh, that's Gears, you know. But
Yeah.
here's my 3, man. I got 2 for Nintendo and 1 for PlayStation. My first one is Kung Fu for the NES.
Wow.
I want that to come back, man. I think with games like what was that? With the games you got nowadays, it seemed like you could do that game. What was that game that was released? It was almost like Grand Theft Auto, but it was I didn't buy it.
True Crime.
True Crime.
Yeah.
True Crime. You could take Kung Fu and put it in that type of a setting with Nintendo's magic. Oh my God, that'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see that come back. I want to see pro wrestling for the NES come back.
God dog.
Wrestling. Wow.
It was the great Puma Star Man, Fighter Boot Man. I want to see all that, because you know Nintendo. To me, I would care 2 cents. I don't even care about WWE wrestling games. If Nintendo brought pro wrestling back in with today's graphics and today's capabilities, with those same characters, and maybe add, you know what I'm saying, maybe 7, 8 more, and let you build your own character. Oh my God.
Yo, speaking of Starman, this was like a year and a half ago, 2 years tops. Did you know that on WWE, someone cosplay as Starman and was in the crowd and everything? It's on YouTube. And yo, when he came in, the crowd went nuts. I was like, yo, Starman.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's you can get it on YouTube. Just put WWE Starman, and it'll pop up. And I was like, it was godlike, the fact that someone actually put on a Starman outfit and actually went there. But you know, that's why I like John Cena, because he be repping Nintendo hard body.
That I want to see that come back. You know, I know a few people, man. A lot of the wrestling fans want to see a wrestling game. I want to see that, and I would like AKI. I think that's who made WCW versus NWO and how you say it? I think it's spelled AKI.
Wasn't that THQ?
Was it THQ?
For the 64, right?
THQ published it, but AKI is the development
64.
Oh, okay.
But the THQ published it, but the company that made it, I think it's AKI. I can't think of it right now. I might try to Google it and find it. But I want them to make it. Bring them cats back. Anyway, my last one is a PlayStation game, Mark of Cree.
Yikes! Mark of Cree deserves it. Now, you know something? Now, that is a game. This is what I don't like about Sony. They focus so much on garbage when a game like Mark of Cree, it should be made. Like, I don't understand how Mark of Cree isn't remade.
I never understood why they haven't made that game either.
Oh my goodness. These guys sometimes, I just like,
See, and that's what killed me, live. These cats don't know nothing about these games.
No, they don't. They don't care. That's why. There is no sense of tradition or connectivity between their brand. First of all, we have to be realistic about this. This is just a company. It's a consumer electronic company. There's no need for this. Is about dollars and cents. There's not no, let's make this colorful character so it can have a timeless blah blah. No. Like, we're just going to make this character, dev team, do what you got to do. I'm going to market him, and if it works, he works, and if it does, because they're not looking at the long term. They're going with the trends and the changing markets. That's the difference between Nintendo. Nintendo does it. Their paradigm in business is not based off of trends and changing markets. Nintendo has created their own market that exists in the market. So it doesn't matter what happens with the market changing around them, their market will never change.
Right.
And that's why a great intellectual property such as Mark Cree can come and vanish, and no one knows. Like when I saw PlayStation All Stars and they made Fat Princess, you mean Fat Princess got this roster spot over Mark of Cree? Tell me that's what you're telling me, Sony. Really? Really? Of all the characters, Beanbag or whatever his name is from whatever planet, I forgot the name of that game, because I call it the Pikmin or the animal, forgot the name of the game. But it's that Beanbag looking character. Like, that character got over Mark of Cree. And you can see when they made the game, like, first of all, that character from BioShock, that's not a Sony character, is it?
No.
The machine with the drill, that's not a Sony character, right?
No,
that's not a Sony character.
no.
Oh, it's not a Sony character. Okay, so the game says PlayStation All-Stars. So, by the definition of this title, these should have been the All-Stars that represent Sony's PlayStation, like Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Brothers is a bunch of Nintendo characters smashed together.
Right.
So you would think, okay, Sony, then let us get your Sony characters. Mark of Cree got deaded by, that was made by Eidos or Infinity? Who made BioShock? I forgot this. Oh my goodness, there's so many damn companies out there. Huh. Okay, so the point is that roster should have been filled with a whole bunch of different characters. I don't understand why Namco wasn't really pushed in that game. That game could have used Klonoa. I don't know if you guys remember that game by Namco. It was like a new mascot that they made. Like, I don't know why Namco hasn't pushed a Klonoa game and put it out on the Wii U as a platforming game, because on the PlayStation, that game was godlike. I don't know why it didn't touch well with people, because Sony was selling for fans between 18 to 34, so they didn't want to play any type of game with a little dog as a Pac-Man hat on collecting rings or little cute flowers and hearts. But like what they failed to see is that the game design, the level design, the character design, and then the gameplay of that game was ridiculous. There's a lot of godlike games that was Silent Bomber, Thunder. What happened to the Thunder Force series? Like, they just don't make these.
No, they don't, man. Bad. The company that made No Mercy and WCW versus NWO was published by THQ, but it was made by Akai Corporation. Yeah. Akai, that's how you say it. AKI, but Akai. And I want them to bring that engine back. All that, but make pro wrestling. I'm telling you, that'd do it for me. I'll be done. You bring back Kung Fu. There's a whole bunch of games I can name, but them too, it's like Nintendo has so many IPs that they can make that will eliminate them even needing third party. It's so many games that they can cover every genre. Shooting, first person shooter.
If Nintendo wanted to, if Nintendo so chose, Nintendo can make an in-depth wrestling game using Nintendo and Sonic characters. And that would outsell WW 14 and 15 together.
You got about that.
Yo, cause I'm like, if I see Sonic stun somebody, if I see Mario give someone the people elbow, as silly as that look, yo, people
I'm
will,
buying that.
adults and children will play that. That is something you can play with your kids and have a good, wholesome time. You know what it is? People just don't want to have good, wholesome fun no more. Everyone wants some surreal experience that only there's no memories to it. Nothing's attached to it. It just lasts for that one moment and then it's gone and then you move on to the next. Like,
that's true. Now that's one thing I can say about this current past 7 to 10 years of gaming. Ain't been much memorable stuff that they have produced. But let's transition, man, because we getting a little deep. I want you to get an opportunity. We're to the main part where, TriForce, I asked TriForce on Twitter if he got a chance to go to Comic-Con and play some games. Would he play Bayonetta 2 and Mario 3D World for us? And y'all heard he brought up, what was the game you said you saw there?
Yeah, Sonic Lost Worlds.
Strider.
Oh, Strider. Yeah.
You saw Strider. You played Sonic Lost Worlds too?
Yeah, they had all those games.
The floor is yours. What me and Live want, and Live can speak up for himself. I don't want to speak for him, but we want to know how I looked, how I felt, how I played.
All right.
Just everything. All three.
Put you on. They had a Lost Worlds version that was for the Wii U, but that was packed, so I couldn't get to it. So I played the one on the 3DS, which is supposed to just give me an idea of what the one on the console is. Sonic Lost Worlds think of it like Mario Galaxy, but you move a lot faster, and the worlds are extended. With Mario Galaxy, the worlds are more compact and more complex, and the game moves slower. And the way I tweeted, I took a picture of the game and I tweeted it, right? And I said, you ever notice the text looks just like how they write Mario's words?
I saw that.
So, right next to the Mario Lost Worlds, there was a machine, and it's a virtual version of Mario. You see Mario in there, and you can interact with him. You can talk to him. Somewhere out there, I'm going to try to get you the YouTube video before we even upload this podcast and try to see if I can get where I asked Mario something. So he's like, one of the Nintendo reps was like, hey Mario, your favorite fan TriForce is here. And he's like, hey, TriForce, my favorite video game hero. He's like, I was like, word, really? And so Mario's talking back to me. And he said, so what's going on? I said, long time no see, Mario. I said, hey, I got a question for you. So I said, I'm looking at Lost Worlds and I'm looking at your Olympic Games. When are you and Sonic going to give us a 3D adventure on the Wii U? And he was like, woo, that's a good one. And he's like, I'm going to go tell Papa. So he's talking about Miyamoto, right? And he's like, that would be great. Me and Sonic can team up and we can go rescue a princess and beat up both Robotnik and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, it's Matt Gallic because like it's Mario talking to you. Obviously, it's some digitized voice, so someone's talking for Mario, but you get Mario's voice, and then you see Mario on the screen, like in a surreal, like 3D realistic version of him, and he talks in the whole thing. So the Nintendo rep says, "Wait, TriForce, I gotta ask you a question. Who's your favorite Nintendo character, Mario or Link?" So I was like, I'm sorry, Mario. And he's like, so Mario's like, no problem. He's like, I love Link too, and blah, 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 cause Link is my dude. Mario's the man, but Link is my dude.
Right.
And, but the game, when you look at that game, clearly Nintendo is working on, an adventure game between the two. Clearly. That would, and I'm not, this is my theory as to why. What would make Sega want to make the game exclusive for Nintendo? Outside of the fact that all Sonic games sell better on Nintendo systems than any other systems, not counting the Sega systems. Number two, when you look at the way Sonic is as a character, the way they package and present Sonic looks like it comes from the Mushroom Kingdom now. It doesn't even look like it comes from Mobius. We had this discussion on the last
we did.
Show. So it's only a matter of time. And if I was Nintendo, I would save that as the ace in the hole. Let next year make the announcement. In fact, even if it comes 2 years from now, make the announcement at E3 in 2014. So when everyone's talking about the Xbox One and they're talking about the PlayStation, when they go, Fujinaka and Miyamoto is working on the first Sonic and Mario game. That right there will be whatever damage Nintendo takes at E3 will be completely negated. It's as if it never happened. They dropped a bomb on Nintendo, Sonic and Mario do fusion, and they block that bomb. Free. It's free. They just block the bomb. It won't even make a difference. But the game was great. Long story short, it reminds me of Sonic Rush mixed with Mario Galaxy, mixed with Sonic 2 for the Dreamcast. So it had all the great elements of what you're looking for in a Sonic game in terms of world design and how you interact with the characters and play the game. Moving on to Bayonetta. Bayonetta is games like Bayonetta. The game isn't bad. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Bayonetta is a terrible game, because it's not. I have my personal opinions about the character design, which is my only problem that I don't like the fact that you are here it comes off as they're using the visually sexually appealing character to push the game when they don't need to. The game is godlike on its own. So they don't need a character who has all of this extra whatever, blah, blah, blah. But outside of that, playing the game, it's no different in terms of Devil May Cry or Yaiba or Ninja Gaiden or any of the new 3D realm beat-em-ups. But what the game does have, its interface is better than all of those games. By far, hands down, free. That game is actually really intense, and it's a lot to watch. This is a game I would recommend for hardcore gamers. It isn't as difficult as Ninja Gaiden, but that difficulty isn't true gameplay. A lot of people get that. I'm a hardcore gamer. I'm a game master, and I don't like games that's overly difficult, like Viewpoint. And you guys may not remember that game. It was on a PlayStation. I was like, why are you like this? This is so annoying. I understand.
That's like Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox. My God, man.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox really wasn't that difficult because everything has like some type of pattern to it. But but we get your point. These overly difficult games, stop trying to replace gameplay with difficulty. Just say you suck as a game designer. That's why you did that. And we can accept that. But Bayonetta doesn't give you that excess difficulty, but it doesn't make it easy for you either. So you get that just right gameplay. So if you're into 3D action beat 'em ups, Bayonetta, cop it.
How's the visuals?
I'm a G. I'm a gamer.
I like that.
For me, people, the visuals, I just said, you can only see 24 frames. So all it is, oh man, look, the Xbox One is better. Look, the texture, the follicle of this grass bends this way better than the Wii. Who cares? In terms of the visuals, it meets the standard requirement of today's generation in gaming. So, as far as that's concerned, anyone who's looking for a game that got graphics, Bayonetta got it. Mario 3D Worlds.
Okay, let's get it in.
Now, Mario 3D Worlds is perhaps the best Mario game since 64.
Are you serious?
No exaggeration.
Because I'm not a Sunshine fan.
Yeah.
I like Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer 64.
I'm going to put you on. I'm going to show you how Nintendo peep the formula. Let me paint the slide for you by Nintendo. Nintendo took the immersive world of 64 and Mario 3D Land, right? So you know how the world is like top-down views, bird's eye side, and it can go side-scroller, and then it can, whatever, right? Mm. It took that. It took the complexity in terms of items. But I guess they did that in New Super Mario Brothers anyway. But I love using Super Mario Brothers 3 as a reference point because that's where they all started that, right? They took that. They took Galaxy, and then they took Super Mario Brothers 2, and they smashed it all together into one game. Then they took the new Super Mario Brothers element of the 4 players simultaneous huge 3D world, not side scrolling. So I was like, yo, what is going on? I saw these guys in some type of boat. I was like, what type of boat is that these guys are on? And like I don't know what the boat was actually doing, but like, cause I didn't get to actually play this game because that line was too long. That was the longest line, the new Super Mario Worlds. But like, the type of things that they have, Nintendo went in on this. I can tell this game was in development longer than we are led to believe. This isn't something Nintendo made in the last 2 or 3 years. Nintendo had this on a back burner somewhere doing something. And I think they were waiting for the technology of the Wii U to be able to push this game out. And I'm kind of upset that I didn't get to play it because I actually wanted to play that one just because I saw the 4 characters in the boat together. And it has that Neo Geo kind of feel. When you split up, the world zooms out, but no resolution is lost. So your characters don't become all pixelated and disconfigured where you can't recognize them. You get to see them fully. And I'm like, yo, that's godlike. So, but we all knew Nintendo was able to do that when they showed the 128 Marios. Remember that?
That's live. That's live. Big thing right there, man.
Yep. So when they did that E3 presentation with the 128 Marios all running on the same screen together and stuff like that, that's why I was like, nah. I was like, with this version of Mario doing that, with the world expand, like there's still a bubble that keeps all the 4 players in the world together. Like you all can't go up to the extreme ends of each of the levels because this screen can only give you but so much.
Right.
But it does it enough where you're satisfied and the gameplay is not interrupted. And I was like, that's ridiculous. I was like, nah, Nintendo been working on this for some time. Like, they ain't G'ing me with that one. Like, get out of here. So like, but I was like, yo, that's ridiculous. So when I get a chance, I'm trying to cop that game this holiday season because I actually want to play that particular game. And because we always wanted to play a Super Mario Brothers game where 4 people could play together. And Nintendo, in the traditional side-scrolling side aspect, and Nintendo gave that to us with New Super Mario Brothers and New Super Mario Brothers Wii U, but we never got a Super Mario 64 world in 4 players. That's what you're getting.
Man, you getting me hype, man. I'm a big dude. I'm telling you, when I first played Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
I have not forgotten it. The only game that came close, in my opinion, to trumping how I felt when I first played Mario 64 is Ocarina of Time on the 64. Yeah. And maybe Wave Race. Them 3 games, nothing has challenged how I felt and how I still feel about those 3 games. Nothing I played up to this point has usurped my feeling about those 3 games.
I feel you, man. Because this is why, man.
Wave Race was that deal, man. Not the GameCube one, the 64 Wave Race.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing been like it.
To this day, you know what it is? It's the water version of Mario Kart.
Right.
It's the water version of Mario Kart because still to this day, the best Mario Kart is Mario Kart 64. People cannot front. That is the best Mario Kart till this day. Now.
Yeah. And my second one of that is Double Dash. I love Double Dash, man.
I you know what I like better than that? Second one is Mario Kart DS.
See, I never got off I never got the DS one.
Oh wow! The only thing bad about it is the snaking. There's this thing called snaking.
Yeah, I know.
Breaks the game. So stupid. But so you can't. But if you're if you're just having fun, nah. Because if you know snaking and you're playing against 3 people that's having fun, you're gonna do it. You're gonna hit them with that cheap stuff. But if you're just playing a computer, it's definitely a great game.
Now, ain't snaking is when you can get behind the player and kind of speed up?
Nah,
No, that's not it.
that's the rubber band effect. That's drifting. No, not drifting. Oh, I said drifting. That's drafting. That's a real race car physics. If you're
Okay.
driving behind another car, the other car's taking up all the wind resistance, and if you stay behind them long enough, then you pull out to the side, you get an actual boost.
Okay.
They use that in NASCAR. Slingshot, rubber band, whatever. That's the actual
So
physics.
what's snaking? I heard of it, but I'm not. I guess I'm not
All right.
thinking what's
So
saying.
drifting is when you're drifting a corner to maintain the same speed, but you're on the side axis of your vehicle while accelerating forward.
Right.
There's a way to drift before that drift happens. Drift, and your car's doing left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and then when you let go, it boosts you as if you had a mushroom.
Oh no, I didn't know about that.
So, but you have guys who can go left, right, boost, left, right, boost, left, right, boost, left, right, boost, left, right, boost through the whole game. So you're like, huh?
That'd be cool if you playing with some cats that know how to do it.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's not fun. You just sit there and watch these guys do, and you're like, come on, man. That's like having a golden mushroom, infinitely. This is dumb. So I'm glad they took it out of the Mario Karts after that. That's why Mario Kart kind of went down in terms of competitive aspects. Just went down because it's like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Did
Any
you,
other?
did,
Go ahead,
did you
Lyle, man.
did you get a chance to play with the 2DS?
The 2DS, nope. Never got a chance to try it. I'm all for Nintendo, but certain things that Nintendo makes is just not for me. Those are novelty items for people who are in a different bracket in terms of what it's like the Game Boy Micro. It's like a collectible to me.
Yeah.
Some people get it because it's a novelty item, or they just want to be able to experience that particular product itself because they can't afford or they're not interested in the standard product. So that's what I look at the Nintendo 2DS as. But there's no reason for me personally to play the 2DS when I have a 3DS. So I don't see the reason why I would even be concerned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it. I'm not going to open it. It's for collector's purpose.
Right. All right. Strider. You brought up Strider. Now I'm a little upset that they skipping the Wii U, but eventually I'm gonna have a PlayStation 4, so I'm gonna get a chance to play this game regardless. But what'd you think about it? TriForce.
Oh, you were talking to me. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
talking to you.
Okay, repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Strider. You brought up Strider. Did you get a chance to play it?
No, I watched the demo because I was passing by. I had to go to this thing called the Next Level booth, and I watched the game. I don't know if anyone even played Strider 2, not US Gold for Genesis. 2 is called Strider 2 for PlayStation, where they had Hinryu in it, which is the Strider in the white suit. It reminds me of that, but Strider. The most aesthetically appealing thing that I saw was his cowl. You know, Strider has that red cowl. Yeah. It has this liquidy effect now. It's ridiculous. The game is not as fast as part 2, but it's not as slow as part 1. So it's in the middle of both games. But it just looks like a typical hack and slash 2D's game. So it's a refreshing run back of what you got years ago. For what I look and saw, the thing that drew me to it is because I'm a Strider fan. So I was drawn to it, but I did not get to go in depth with the game. I'm gonna try to look online and find out if there's any in depth footage of the different levels and stuff like that. What's the story behind it? All that type of stuff. But I didn't get to do it. Just to let you know, this year Comic-Con sucked. Just thought you should know that. Yes, it was terrible. Just putting it out there. It was horrible.
I have never been to one. I'm looking. I want to go to an E3 when one of my friends talk about it all the time, and me and Live talk about it as well. Man, I would love to go to the E3, but I've never been to PAX or Comic-Con or none of that.
Here's a problem. Comic-Con is not in the same boat as E3 or PAX. Comic Con is Comic Con. It's for those who are interested in comics.
Yeah.
Now, last year's Comic Con was great for this one reason. They put the video games at the back end of the Jacob Javits Center where they belong because it's a comic convention. And they put the Artist Alley and all the things associated with this comic convention in the front where it's accessible to everyone because they're there for the comic convention. Some moron was hired to reverse that process this year and put the Artist Alley in the back end that you can't get to really unless you're coming on from that direction, and all of the games and things of that nature up in the front. And although as a gamer I enjoyed that, I didn't go to Comic-Con for that. I went to Comic-Con because I wanted to see what the new stuff they wrote on Thanos, New 52, because I'm into the Superman and Wonder Woman power couple thing. That's my jump. And some other stuff. I wanted to see what's going on if they dropped any new Attack on Titan manga that would reach here first before it came out even in online, different websites and stuff like that. But when I got in Comic-Con, I saw immediately the Next Level booth, which was this all multiple genre gaming and stuff like this. I was like, wait, where am I in PAX? And then when I went to the back of the first front hall, Intel Extreme Masters Esports StarCraft was there. And I was like, so yeah, I didn't know StarCraft had a comic book. And I was like, yeah. And then obviously you had your scantily clad young females who their parents should be completely ashamed of having them out there, and then using the guise that it's art. Yeah, whatever. Like, if I have a daughter, that will never happen. You better dress up as a character that is fully clothed, because that's not happening. Bunch of Harley Quinns and Poison Ivories, so you can put your imagination to the test. And yeah, so yeah, overall for me, Comic-Con sucked.
Okay. Live?
Wow. I mean, that's a lot, man.
I was gonna ask him about Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, but I see the time getting late. I don't think he probably got a chance to play that one or not.
No, actually, I did. I just saw it and walked past it because I did. When you went to the Nintendo booth, to move was to bump someone. See, so everyone was walking sideways. No one could walk at the Nintendo booth. No one could walk straight because it was narrow. So everyone had to walk sideways past each other.
Okay, so it was a design flaw as far as how they set up the Nintendo booths. And
nah, just
that many people.
Just that many people. The Nintendo next year, Nintendo get a bigger space for real, because it was just not big enough.
All right. Wow. Well, I guess we're gonna start trying to wrap this up, man. Anybody got any last words they want to share before we get out of here?
That's pretty much it. Shout out to Nintendo always.
What about you, Live Level?
Amazon UK. I want my 2DS.
They ain't sent it yet?
No,
wow.
Not yet.
Wow, man, that's been a minute. Well, this is your boy Leveled Head. Thank y'all for tuning in for this. I'm thinking it's gonna be about close to 2 hours. Look forward to more from Live and Leveled as we continue to do this podcast. This is just us sitting down with TriForce. We're gonna have them on. We're gonna try to get them on every now and again. We're gonna bomb rush him with stuff, but we try to get him on every now and again and get his thoughts. And this is the Live and Level Gamers podcast signing off. Deuces.
Mr. L live and that boy leveled. Boy leveled. Boy leveled. Mr. L live and that boy leveled. Boy leveled. Boy leveled. Mr. L live. Mr. L live and that Mr. L live and that boy